out after Trump threatens to take away Congress's special Obamacare carve-out. The repeal and replace healthcare bill has been a hot-button issue for some time now, especially since the Senate was unable to pass it after voting on it just last week. The media has been wildly reporting on the late-night votes. However, it was the president's reaction and not the public's that was more surprising after the legislation failed to pass through the Senate. The president made it clear that he has done everything in his power to try and ensure that the bill passed and thus worked closely with members of the Senate and House of Representatives to try and get the result he wanted. So he wasn't exactly pleased when 3 Republican senators' no votes led to the dismantling of the piece of legislation that will give his administration a huge win. He has argued that instead of repealing and replacing the bill that the Senate should simply repeal without replacing. As well, he has even argued that we should simply let the Affordable Care Act explode and then deal with the fallout. On Saturday he sent out a series of tweets where he appears to threaten members of the House and Senate in relation to their actions concerning the health care debacle. The Independent Journal Review reported the following on the president. President Donald Trump on Saturday threatened to end bailouts for members of Congress and insurance companies if lawmakers don't pass a new health care bill in the near future. If a new health care bill is not approved quickly, bailouts for insurance companies and bailouts for members of Congress will end very soon, Trump tweeted. Senator Chris Murphy, DCT, said Trump's warning is a clear threat to take away health care from members of Congress and their staff. Murphy then asserted that the president does have the power to cut off health care for leg branch employees and crater exchanges. He then added, "I would argue this is a very serious moment." President Donald Trump on Saturday threatened to end bailouts for members of Congress and insurance companies if lawmakers don't pass a new health care bill in the near future. If a new health care bill is not approved quickly, bailouts for insurance companies and bailouts for members of Congress will end very soon, Trump tweeted. Senator Chris Murphy, DCT, said Trump's warning is a clear threat to take away health care from members of Congress and their staff. Murphy then asserted that the president does have the power to cut off health care for leg branch employees and crater exchanges. He then added, "I would argue this is a very serious moment." While his supporters have always loved his blunt antics and willingness to do what they call shooting from the hip, this latest set of tweets might have crossed a line. But one Fox News reporter Ed Henry confirmed that fact when he said the president's tweets were simply pointing out the hypocrisy on Capitol Hill. IJR reported the following on what Henry said. Henry explained that members of Congress made a special rule for themselves to enter the small business exchange rather than following the rules that had been imposed on the rest of America. This helped pay for insurance for members of Congress and their staff benefits. What they were saying is, we want a little special carve-out, Henry said. Now, will the president be able to do away with that? Who knows? Maybe it's just rhetoric. But he is pointing out that these lawmakers, who didn't have the courage of their convictions, he's saying, maybe I am going to expose your special deal. Henry argued that Trump's message resonates with a lot of Americans. CNBC also reported an interesting development. President Donald Trump threatened on Saturday to end government payments to health insurers if Congress does not pass a new healthcare bill and goaded them to not abandon their 7-year quest to replace the Obamacare law. In a Twitter message on Saturday, Trump said, if a new healthcare bill is not approved quickly, bailouts for insurance companies and bailouts for members of Congress will end very soon. The tweet came a day after Senate Republicans failed to muster enough votes to repeal parts of the Affordable Care Act, President Barack Obama's signature health care bill commonly known as Obamacare. The first part of Trump's tweet appeared to be referring to the approximately $8 billion in cost-sharing reduction subsidies the federal government pays to insurers to lower the price of health coverage for low-income Americans. The second part appeared to be a threat to end the employer contribution for Congress members and their staffs, who were moved from the normal federal employee healthcare benefits program onto the Obamacare insurance exchanges as part of the 2010 healthcare law. Trump has previously threatened to suspend the payments to insurers, which are determined by the Department of Health and Human Services. In April, he threatened to end the payments if Democrats refuse to negotiate over the healthcare bill. In all likelihood, the Senate will now move on to another major issue the administration hopes to deal with, such as tax reform, infrastructure, immigration reform and more. Perhaps now it is time to take a break from healthcare and come back to it. Their future certainly depends upon it. Thank you for watching. What do you think about this?